Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in Open House. Thank you to the Adams County Community Media for collaborating with Manos Unidas today. My name is Yeime Bautista, and I am part of the board of Manos Unidas, and it's an honor today to be in the company of another board member, Peter. How
Hi.
are you?
I'm well. I'm Peter Boving, and I'm a board member. I think I've been on the board for about 5 years. And I've been a mentor in the local Hispanic community since about 2009, beginning with the Center El Centro back when Paula Ollinger, the founder of the Center El Centro, ran that program. And I started just to keep my Spanish up. That was the idea. I didn't want to lose it. My stepmom always says, use it or lose it. So I didn't want to lose my Spanish vocabulary, so I wanted to do some mentoring. And over the years, I developed friendships with several folks, and especially with one family. And it's been wonderful to be invited into the homes and into the parties and to some quinceañeras, which are beautiful events.
Very good.
So I've been invited into people's homes over the years. And I serve on the board of Manos Unidas in Gettysburg to support people with food assistance and citizenship classes and English as a second language and lots of other services like Kids Day and things like tax assistance, which is what we're here to talk about today.
We are here to talk about taxes, tax season. We're going to be talking about a specific program. But before we get into that, I have a question, Peter. How did you learn Spanish? Because I've heard you speak in Spanish, and it's really good. And I'm curious because I don't think I recall having, or maybe we did talk about it, but I can't remember.
Maybe a long time ago. I started in junior high school, so 7th grade, and just kept going all the way through junior high school, and college, because I enjoyed the Spanish classes, and I ended up with a double major, Spanish being the one that I wasn't really planning on, but just had so many classes, I majored in it anyway. And my stepmom was from Venezuela, so I spoke Spanish with her. And I just enjoy the culture and mostly the food, but also the music and the dancing. So,
thank you for sharing that. And just a little bit of a reminder, Manos Unidas has been in our community since 2006. We are a place where we welcome everyone. We just happen to have staff that is bilingual, bicultural, and our volunteers, some of them, like Peter, speak Spanish. Thank you for taking an interest in learning another language, and great that you had family that you can practice, because yes, practice really helps, and being in touch with the culture where that language originates, it's also very important. So thank you for that. Now we're going to talk about the topic at hand, which is taxes. Tax season is here, and we wanted to share about a program that has been in our community for many years, and Manos Unidas has offered this also for many years. And today we're going to talk about the specifics. So what can you tell us about the program?
So the program we're talking about is VITA, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance and Tax Counseling for the Elderly. It's an IRS program, and it's nationwide. Locally, the United Way trains people who can do taxes, if you qualify, for a lot of reasons. And they train individuals who work with the Office for Aging and Manos Unidas because of the specific targeting of the VITA tax program, which is moderate income, so $64,000 or less. You need to be either a senior, so 65 or older, disabled, or not speak English well. So we all have our own areas of interest and try to make sure that the needs are met in our community.
Okay, so let's review the requirements. Earn a moderate income of $64,000 or less, correct?
Yes.
All right. Be a person with a disability, not speak English well, and be a senior citizen, 65 or older. Very well.
That's right.
And is anyone in our community engaged in helping folks with this service that you know of? Or just Manos Unidas?
Well, I know of United Way, the Office for Aging, and Manos Unidas.
Right.
And as far as I know, those are the only three in this immediate area.
Right. And so it's very important when we are looking out for assistance with something like taxes that we go to places that are legitimate, certified to help. It's very important nowadays that, maybe scams or people are trying to take advantage, that we feel confident in reaching out to places that are certified to provide this. My understanding is that you're a volunteer.
I am.
How do you go about becoming a volunteer?
Well, you sign up
Okay.
and get the information on when the training is held. Okay. So United Way coordinated training. The training's actually by the IRS, but United Way coordinates it for their volunteers at the Office for Aging, and Manos Unidas volunteers. And you take the training and become certified. Once you pass a test, you have to qualify, that you know all the rules,
stringent, yes.
the safety rules, in addition to how to do the taxes. So there are lots of confidentiality issues.
Yeah. It can be intimidating. I have to confess, I do file my taxes, but every year I'm afraid of how much it's going to be, or there are words I don't understand. I know that IRS stands for the Internal Revenue Service, which is the federal agency that is in charge of tax collection, right? So that's something that you mentioned. Again, VITA program, you spell it V as in Victor, I, T as in Thomas, A, VITA. Can you tell us about how Manos Unidas is offering this opportunity? What are some of the hours that they are available, and how do people go about scheduling an appointment or a service?
Sure. At Manos Unidas, tax assistance is available on Fridays from 12 to 4 and Saturdays 9 to 3 by appointment. Drop-off is possible Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 at Manos Unidas, and the office is located at 19 West High Street in Gettysburg. To make an appointment, you can email manos2unidas@gmail.com. That's manos2unidas@gmail.com, or leave a message at 717-334-1498. We don't have staff there all the time, so you need to leave a message and it'll be answered.
Yes, we really appreciate your patience. We know there's a lot of people that may need support, and we'll try to get them within 48 hours after they have reached out. So we appreciate your patience. There will be some documentations to bring. Can you talk about that as well?
Sure. There's an intake form. It's called Intake Interview and Quality Review Form, which is required before we can evaluate if we're allowed to do your taxes, because they have to meet the requirements and be basic. If it's a complicated return, we can't do it. We have to stay within our level of training, and my training level is basic. So we have to do the intake form first, and then when we do your taxes, we need to make sure you have your W-2, your 1099s, 1098 forms. You'll need picture ID, Social Security cards, or I-10 letters for everyone on the tax return, including children. So there are lots of forms and documentation required before we can actually sit down and prepare the tax return.
Right. So this intake form, there are forms, W-2, for example, that's the form that you get from your employer, right?
Right.
Detailing how much you made. The 1099 is when you're a contractor.
Now the 1099 comes from the bank.
Oh,
So it's
you see?
interest.
Thank you, that's good.
So it can be interest and dividends, but if you have a savings account, you might get a 1099 from your bank.
That can be confusing. There's a lot of forms, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
And the other one is the 1098 forms, which are associated with education. So if you have a college loan or paid for books, then you might get a 1098 form.
That makes me think I do have that, actually, so thank you. That's good information for me to know. A picture ID, like an official picture ID.
Yes.
Could be your passport, your driver's license, right? your social security card, or an ITIN letter. Do you know what an ITIN is?
What is an ITIN? It's an individual tax identification number. So for people who don't qualify for a social security card, you still need to have an ITIN number. And it might be children, it might be people who don't have a social security card for a variety of reasons. But to pay your taxes, you need an ITIN number so they can keep track of the taxes, of the money you've earned that's been paid into the IRS, so that you can file your taxes and have it calculated correctly.
Excellent. Well, this was very helpful. I would encourage people, as they are trying to learn more about the words, the meaning of these forms, to go to official sites for information. And so in doing that, when you are in a web search engine like Google or Bing or one of those, make sure that when you click on something that it comes from the institution itself. Government agencies have an extension at the end of the address, .gov, which is what they will name a website that has been created for the government. It's very important that don't click on just anything, that when you are trying to get information that will help you or your loved ones, that you go to legitimate sources of information. And I think that we cover the basics. We don't want to overwhelm you with information because remember, we are not tax accountants or experts. We volunteer to share the information and to support those basic applications that members of our community need. So remember, we're going to review the qualifications. So if you earn a moderate income of $64,000 or less, menos de $64,000 al año, be a person with a disability, una persona que tiene una discapacidad, not speak English well, si no hablan inglés, o ser una persona de 65 años o más, or be a senior citizen of 65 or older. So those are the qualifications. I'm going to say how to contact Manos Unidas in Spanish, and Peter reviewed that, but si necesitan hacer una cita para obtener ayuda con sus impuestos y llenan los requisitos, por favor llamen al 717-334-1498. Les pedimos que tengan paciencia porque no tenemos a una persona todo el tiempo en la oficina, pero tratamos de devolverle la llamada dentro de las 48 horas después de que dejaron el mensaje. So I just provided, again, the phone number 717-334-1498 to schedule your appointment to meet with one of the volunteers. Is there anything else you would like to share before we end?
Thank you, Yeime. Do we have time to talk about the property tax and rent?
Yes, please share with me that because
There's
that's something I don't know
a big
much
change
about.
in the Pennsylvania law for the property tax. It's called Pennsylvania Real Estate Tax and Rent Rebate, or PTRR. And it hasn't been expanded since 2006, so a long time. The income now is below $45,000. So it's gone up quite a bit, especially for renters. If someone in the household is 65 or older, a widower or widow 50 years or older, or disabled and 18 years or older, you may qualify for this rent rebate or property tax rebate. And the range depends on your income, but the range of the rebate has increased, and now they're between $380 to $1,000 rebate. So it's worth checking into this if you meet the eligibility requirements. To find out more information about the property tax rebate, you can Google PTRR, and you can look at the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue website. So Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, property tax and rent rebate. And there's more information about the program there. But it's a big change this year.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. That's something new I didn't know, and I'm grateful for that. All right. This concludes our interview today. Thank you again for joining us, and we wish you a great day.
Manos Unidas, helping to make our community safe, vibrant, and thriving.